Chosen one. Hear this with your spirit wide awake. You are not watching this by accident, and you did not arrive here by chance. This moment has been orchestrated by heaven itself, aligned by divine timing, because your spirit was ready to receive what is about to be released. Archangel Michael says, this is not a delay season, it is a transition moment, and you are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough that will shift your financial destiny. Chosen one. There is a movement in the unseen realm right now. What felt like silence was preparation. What looked like waiting was positioning. And what you thought was resistance was actually protection. Archangel Michael says the Lord has seen your faithfulness, your quiet endurance, and the prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. Now a new season has opened over your life, and divine assistance is being dispatched with precision. Anointed One scripture declares that God commands his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways, as written in Psalms chapter 91. This is that moment. You are standing at the threshold of divine provision, sudden elevation, and a heaven-sent financial connection prepared specifically for you. If your spirit feels stirred, stay with this message. Gently subscribe so you don't miss what heaven is releasing, and if this resonates, type 777 in the comments as an act of agreement. Chosen one, prepare your heart. What comes next is not random, it is ordained. Chosen one. I want you to hear this slowly, not with anxiety, not with striving, but with your spirit open and settled. There were seasons when you cried where no one saw you, moments when you did everything right and still watched doors stay closed. Times when you labored faithfully, gave generously, showed up consistently, yet your bank account, your opportunities or your resources didn't reflect the weight of your effort. I've been there. I remember doing the right thing when it would have been easier to cut corners. I remember sowing when I barely had enough for myself. And I remember asking God in quiet moments, did you see this chosen one? Archangel Michael says heaven did not miss a single tear, and God did not overlook a single sacrifice. What looked like emptiness around you was not absence, it was alignment. Now hear this with authority. The Lord says, I have seen your struggle, I have heard your prayers, and I am sending help. This is not motivational language. This is a divine decision. Archangel Michael says help is not coming as luck, and it is not coming as coincidence. It is coming as intervention. What is being released toward you is not just provision, but precision. Heaven is touching earth on your behalf, and it is moving through a person God has already hand-picked. This is how God has always worked. When Joseph needed elevation, God sent people. When Ruth needed provision, God positioned Boaz. When Esther needed influence, God aligned timing and favor. Chosen one. The same God is moving now, and Archangel Michael says you will not miss this appointment. Anointed one. Someone is being stirred right now with a burden they cannot explain. They don't fully know your name yet, but they feel the assignment. They are being directed to sow into your life, to open a door to fund what God planted inside you long before resources appeared. I've watched this happen in my own life in ways that defied logic. A phone call I didn't expect. A conversation that turned into provision. An opportunity I didn't apply for. Not because I was clever, but because God orchestrated it. Archangel Michael says this connection will not be forced. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. This will be pure. It will be holy. And when it happens, you will know it could only be God. Chosen one. You are stepping into rooms you didn't qualify for on paper. You are receiving answers you prepared for in secret, but stopped expecting publicly. There are approvals coming that once carried rejection attached to them. And hear this clearly, because this part matters. When it breaks through, it will not be small. It will not be partial. It will not be just enough to survive. Archangel Michael says God is not sending crumbs. He is sending overflow. Not a one-time blessing, but a financial helper with influence, consistency, and vision. Someone who doesn't just bless you once and disappear, but supports you through your next level because your assignment requires sustainability. This is a season of divine flow. Money that felt stuck, delayed, or blocked is being released. Inheritance you didn't even know existed is being uncovered. Contracts are aligning with your name. Grants, refunds, and opportunities are coming together in ways that make you pause and say, this timing doesn't make sense unless God did this. I've seen God do this after long stretches of confusion. One moment everything feels stalled, the next moment multiple things move at once. That is not chaos, that is convergence. Archangel Michael says heaven is aligning what belongs to you with who you have become. Now pause and let this sink in, chosen one. You are not being elevated just to consume. You are being trusted to steward. You will walk in financial clarity, not fear. You will handle resources with wisdom, humility, and purpose. You will bless others without losing yourself. And this matters because wealth without grounding destroys people. I've watched people receive money too early and lose peace, but you have been prepared. The delay was not punishment, it was training. That is why this release will not break you, it will build you. Say this aloud where you are, even if it feels unfamiliar. I am not forgotten. I am not a financial burden. I am blessed to be a blessing. Money is not my master. I serve the Lord, and God uses people to fund His plans. Archangel Michael says, receive this truth deeply. Wealth is a tool, not your identity. And because your heart stayed soft in seasons of lack, heaven can trust you in seasons of abundance. What was stored up for the righteous is not symbolic right now. It is practical, it is moving, and it is coming toward you because God is your source. The Lord says, I will cause men to give unto your bosom. You will not chase provision. Provision will chase you. You will not run after money. Money will run after the assignment on your life. This is not poetry. This is order. When purpose is aligned, resources respond. Archangel Michael says the one being sent to you carries access, favor, wisdom, and instruction. They will not forget you. They will not be distracted, and they will not stop until the assignment is complete. Chosen one, this is your time of financial reversal. This is your time of answered prayer. This is your time of divine remembrance. You are walking into a setup you did not design, but God did. Doors that stayed shut, no matter how hard you knocked, are opening without resistance. Hands that withheld before are releasing. Voices that said no are reconsidering. Places that felt dry are becoming channels of overflow. I know how it feels to be misunderstood, overlooked, or underestimated. But I also know how it feels when God decides it's time and suddenly nothing can stop what He ordained. You are not broke. You are on the verge of breakthrough. You are not rejected. You are being recognized. You are not forgotten. You are being remembered. And hear this carefully, because this line carries weight. You were not valued before because you were hidden, not because you were lacking. Archangel Michael says someone is coming to shift you, to lift you, and to release the pressure that sat on your finances for far too long. You will be fully funded. You will be divinely connected. You will be abundantly sustained. This is not hype. This is your portion. And as this first layer settles into your spirit, take a breath. Let go of how it has to happen. Let go of timelines you built in fear. Heaven is already moving, and you don't need to rush what God has already set in motion. Chosen one. Let me speak to the part of you that learned how to survive quietly. The part that learned to budget faith, to manage hope carefully, to pray without expecting too much because disappointment had visited before. Archangel Michael says this next phase will challenge the survival mindset you had to adopt just to make it through. Not because you were weak, but because the season required restraint. You learned how to stretch little resources, how to keep going when answers were slow, how to remain faithful when reward felt distant. That discipline was not wasted. It formed the backbone of the blessing that is now approaching. I want you to understand something deeply. Heaven does not send provision to chaos. It sends provision to alignment, and alignment is not loud. It happens internally first. There were moments when God adjusted your desires, pruned relationships, delayed certain opportunities, and closed doors that looked promising on the surface. At the time, it felt confusing, even painful. I remember questioning God when something I wanted deeply fell apart at the last moment. Only later did I see that if it had worked, it would have cost me peace, integrity, or direction. Archangel Michael says what you thought was loss was actually protection, and what felt like delay was calibration. Chosen one. The help being sent to you is not random generosity. It is assignment-based. Someone is being positioned who has the capacity to recognize your value without you having to perform for it. They will see what others overlooked. They will understand what you carry without you having to explain it 10 times. And most importantly, they will not see blessing you as charity. They will see it as obedience. That distinction matters, because when someone blesses you out of obedience, they don't resent it later. They don't withdraw when it costs them something. They understand they are part of a divine exchange. Archangel Michael says this person is not being sent to rescue you, but to reinforce you. You are not being pulled out of purpose. You are being propelled into it. That is why the timing feels precise. Had this come earlier, you might have depended on them more than God. Had it come later, you might have grown weary. But now your faith is steady, your discernment is sharper, and your heart is anchored. You are ready to receive without losing yourself. Let me ground this in reality for a moment. I've watched people receive sudden financial help and lose their direction within months because the money arrived before maturity did. I've also watched people receive modest help at the right moment and build something sustainable, impactful, and lasting. Archangel Michael says, what is coming to you is not designed to inflate ego or create noise. It is designed to stabilize your foundation so your next steps are not taken in fear. Stability is a spiritual gift, and you are stepping into it now. Chosen one. There will be a moment where you realize the pressure you carried internally has lifted. You will wake up one day and notice you are no longer calculating worst-case scenarios in your head. You are no longer bracing for the next financial hit. Peace will return to places that anxiety occupied for too long. That peace is not denial. It is confirmation. It is the sign that heaven has taken responsibility for what you could no longer carry alone. Archangel Michael says, you are entering a season where provision meets vision. Ideas that once felt impossible will start to feel practical. Plans you buried because resources were lacking will resurface with clarity. You will notice your thinking shift from, how will I survive, to what am I called to build? That shift is evidence that the supply is aligning with the assignment. God does not reveal vision without provision following close behind. I need you to hear this carefully, anointed one. Do not minimize what is coming because of how long you waited. Long waiting seasons often produce quiet breakthroughs, not dramatic ones. But quiet does not mean small. Some of the most powerful moves of God happen without announcement. A conversation turns into a contract. A recommendation turns into a door. A single act of generosity turns into sustained support. Archangel Michael says, watch for the subtle openings. Do not overlook what feels simple, because simplicity is often how heaven moves. You may also notice resistance rising internally as things begin to shift. Old voices may surface telling you to be cautious, to not hope too much, to expect disappointment. That is not wisdom, that is memory. And memory is not meant to lead you into the future. It is meant to teach you, not trap you. Archangel Michael says, honor what you learned, but do not live there. This new season requires trust at a higher level, not recklessness, but surrender. Chosen one, you will not have to compromise to receive what God is sending. If something requires you to betray your values, rush unnaturally, or ignore your discernment, it is not from heaven. The connection God is sending will come with peace, confirmation, and alignment. It will feel steady, not frantic. It will feel clear, not confusing. Even if it stretches you, it will not violate you. That is how you will know it is God. There is also something else Archangel Michael wants you to be prepared for. When provision begins to flow, opinions will change. People who were silent may suddenly become curious. People who doubted may become friendly. This is not to make you bitter or suspicious, but to make you discerning. You are not obligated to explain your season to anyone who did not walk with you through the valley. Steward your access carefully. Not everyone deserves proximity to what God is building through you. Chosen one. Your role in this season is not to strive harder, it is to stay aligned. Continue doing what God already instructed you to do. Remain faithful in your assignments. Keep your heart clean. Handle what you have well, even if it feels small. Heaven responds to stewardship more than ambition. Archangel Michael says, as you prove faithful in this transition, more will be released without strain. You are not stepping into abundance to escape your past. You are stepping into it to redeem it. The wisdom you gained through lack will protect you in plenty. The compassion you developed through struggle will guide how you bless others. Nothing you went through was wasted. It was all preparation for this moment where provision meets purpose and support meets assignment. Take a moment now, chosen one, and let your body relax. Let your shoulders drop. You do not have to figure this out. You do not have to force outcomes. Heaven is already moving pieces you cannot see. The person being sent is already on a path that intersects with yours at the appointed time. And when that moment arrives, you will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by peace settling deep in your spirit. Chosen one. There is a deeper layer to what is unfolding now, and it begins within you. Before resources change on the outside, authority must settle on the inside. Archangel Michael says this is the season where you stop asking for permission to become who God already authorized you to be. For a long time you second-guessed yourself, not because you lacked ability, but because you were trained to move carefully. You learned to measure every step because mistakes felt costly. But now heaven is reinforcing your confidence, not arrogance, but holy assurance. The kind that comes from knowing God is backing your movement. I want to speak honestly from experience. There were moments in my life when opportunity knocked, and I almost didn't open the door because I didn't feel ready enough. Not because God hadn't prepared me, but because I underestimated what preparation looked like. I thought readiness meant perfection. Heaven defines readiness as obedience through process. Archangel Michael says you have already passed tests you didn't know were tests. The way you handled disappointment, the way you remained generous when it hurt, the way you didn't harden your heart when it would have been understandable. Those moments qualified you more than any credential ever could. Chosen one. The financial shift coming into your life is not just about relief, it is about responsibility. God does not release influence without intention. You are being entrusted with provision because there are people attached to your obedience. The blessing coming toward you carries impact beyond your own household. That is why this season feels weighty, not heavy, but meaningful. Archangel Michael says heaven is expanding your capacity to carry more without losing balance. There will be moments where your mind tries to revert to old patterns. You may catch yourself thinking, what if this doesn't last? Or what if it disappears as fast as it came? Those thoughts are understandable, but they are no longer accurate. They were survival mechanisms, not prophetic insight. Survival taught you to prepare for loss. Alignment teaches you to prepare for stewardship. This is a different posture entirely. One braces for impact, the other builds for longevity. Chosen one. You are entering a phase where consistency replaces crisis. That alone will feel unfamiliar at first. When you've lived under constant pressure, peace can feel suspicious. You may feel tempted to over-control, over-plan, or over-explain. Archangel Michael says, resist that urge. Let stability become normal. Let ease be evidence, not something to question. God is not testing you by making life harder. He is honoring you by making it lighter. I want to ground this again in real life. I remember a time when financial strain shaped every decision I made. I measured conversations by cost, opportunities by risk, and rest by guilt. When God began to lift that weight, it took time to learn how to live without constant tension. The blessing didn't just change my circumstances, it changed my nervous system. That is part of your healing too. Archangel Michael says the help being sent to you will restore more than finances. It will restore your sense of safety. Chosen one, pay attention to how your discernment is sharpening. You are noticing what drains you and what energizes you. You are becoming less available for chaos and more aligned with clarity. This is not isolation, it is refinement. As provision aligns, so must your environment. Some things will naturally fall away, not because they are bad, but because they no longer fit who you are becoming. Allow that pruning without guilt. You are not abandoning people, you are honoring growth. Archangel Michael says this is also a season where your voice begins to carry weight. People will start to listen differently, not because you are louder, but because you are clearer. When provision is present, clarity increases. You will speak with less fear of being misunderstood and more confidence in being authentic. This is important because your words will open doors, create partnerships, and establish trust. Steward your voice as carefully as you steward resources. Chosen one, do not rush the manifestation. Acceleration does not mean chaos. It means alignment happening faster than before. You will notice that things fall into place with less resistance. What once required effort will now require attention. Stay present, stay prayerful, stay grounded. Archangel Michael says heaven is not asking you to run faster, but to move with awareness. There may be moments where you feel unworthy of what is coming. That feeling does not mean you are disqualified. It means your humility is intact. Just don't let humility turn into self-rejection. God does not bless based on worthiness. He blesses based on purpose. And your purpose has been established long before this moment. The fact that you are still here, still faithful, still open, is proof enough. Chosen one, generosity will flow differently in this season. You will no longer give out of obligation or guilt, but out of overflow and clarity. You will know when to say yes and when to say no. Both will be acts of obedience. Archangel Michael says healthy boundaries are part of financial wisdom. Saying no to the wrong thing protects your ability to say yes to the right thing. I want you to notice something subtle but powerful. You are no longer chasing validation. You are attracting alignment. That shift changes everything. When you stop chasing, you begin receiving. Not because you became passive, but because you became positioned. People will feel drawn to you without fully understanding why. Opportunities will find you without heavy promotion. This is the fruit of alignment. Chosen one. This is not the season to shrink or hide, but it is also not the season to perform. Simply be faithful to what is in front of you. Do the next right thing. Manage what you have well. Speak with integrity. Move with discernment. Archangel Michael says heaven is watching not to test you but to support you. The supply being released is steady, not fragile. Take a moment now and reflect on how far you've come. Not just financially but internally. You are more grounded than before, more discerning, more aware, more resilient. That is the version of you God is entrusting with this next level. And as you continue to walk forward, know this: you are not alone in this transition. Heaven is not distant. It is actively involved, guiding steps, softening paths, and aligning help at exactly the right time. Chosen one. There is a moment that arrives quietly before everything changes, and you are standing inside it now. It is the moment when fear no longer has the same authority over your decisions, even if it still tries to speak. Archangel Michael says the reason this shift feels subtle is because God is strengthening your inner posture before expanding your outer reality. This is how heaven builds stability. Loud breakthroughs catch attention, but quiet alignment sustains legacy. I want to speak to the way you've learned to guard yourself. You became cautious because life taught you that disappointment can come unexpectedly. You learned to hope carefully, to trust slowly, to celebrate quietly. That wasn't a flaw. That was wisdom formed under pressure. But Archangel Michael says this season will invite you to loosen your grip on self-protection and lean into divine covering. You are not being asked to be reckless. You are being asked to trust that God's timing is now actively working for you, not against you. There will be decisions coming that feel different from the ones you're used to making. Not harder, just unfamiliar. Choices that once felt impossible will now feel clear. Options that once felt risky will now feel supported. This does not mean every step will be obvious, but it does mean you will sense alignment instead of anxiety. Archangel Michael says pay attention to what brings peace, even before it brings proof. Peace is often the first confirmation. Chosen one. The help being sent to you will not only bring relief, it will bring responsibility to choose differently. When pressure lifts, habits surface. You will notice where you once operated from urgency and now have room to operate from wisdom. This is where maturity shows, not in how fast you move, but in how intentionally you choose. Heaven trusts you with more because you have learned how to pause. I want to ground this again in lived experience. There was a season when every financial decision felt like survival. When God began to shift that season, I realized how much of my identity had been shaped by scarcity. I had to relearn how to make decisions without fear driving them. That process was just as important as the provision itself. Archangel Michael says, what is coming to you will expose patterns not to shame you, but to heal you. Awareness is part of freedom. Chosen one. You may feel moments of grief for the version of you that struggled for so long. That is normal. Growth often carries mourning for what you endured. Let yourself honor that season without dragging it forward. You are allowed to outgrow pain. You are allowed to live without constant tension. God is not testing your gratitude by keeping you uncomfortable. He is rewarding your faithfulness by bringing you into rest. Archangel Michael says rest does not mean inactivity. It means movement without panic. It means building without burnout. It means progress without self-betrayal. This is the pace heaven moves at. Steady, intentional, sustainable. As provision aligns, you will notice your energy return. Creativity will awaken. Vision will sharpen. This is not because you suddenly became different. It is because the weight that clouded you is lifting. Chosen one, be mindful of how you speak about yourself in this season. Words formed in survival can sabotage alignment if left unchecked. Catch yourself when you minimize what God is doing, when you say things like, "It's probably nothing," or "It won't last." Those statements were shields once, but now they restrict growth. Archangel Michael says, speak with humility, but also with agreement. Agree with what heaven is doing, even if it feels unfamiliar. There may also be moments where people misunderstand your shift. When you stop over-explaining, when you stop apologizing for boundaries, when you stop chasing approval. Some may interpret this as distance. It is not distance, it is clarity. You are not becoming unreachable, you are becoming grounded. And grounded people don't move according to external pressure. They move according to internal alignment. Chosen one. This is a season where discernment will protect you more than effort ever did. You will sense when to move forward and when to wait without forcing signs. That sensitivity is not anxiety. It is wisdom refined through experience. Archangel Michael says, trust the quiet knowing inside you. God speaks clearly when the heart is calm. I want you to understand something important. The provision coming into your life is not meant to isolate you, but to position you. You are not being elevated away from people, but toward purpose. The right connections will feel mutual, not draining. Support will feel respectful, not controlling. Collaboration will feel empowering, not consuming. This is how you will recognize alignment. Chosen one, let go of the idea that everything must make sense immediately. Some things will only reveal their meaning after they've unfolded. Faith does not require full visibility. It requires willingness. You have proven that willingness repeatedly in seasons where reward was not guaranteed. Archangel Michael says that consistency is now being honored. You may also notice that your prayers begin to shift. Less begging, more gratitude, less desperation, more clarity. That is not complacency. That is confidence forming, confidence rooted in knowing who your source is. When God becomes your anchor, circumstances lose their ability to shake you. This is not emotional detachment, it is spiritual stability. Chosen one. There will be moments when you feel stretched by the blessing itself. Responsibility can feel heavy before it feels natural. Give yourself grace. You are learning how to carry something new. Growth always feels awkward at first. Archangel Michael says you are not failing because you are adjusting. Adjustment is part of mastery. As you continue forward, remember this: you do not need to prove that you deserve what God is giving you. You only need to steward it well. Deserving is not the measure. Obedience is. And you have shown obedience in seasons where it cost you something. That obedience did not go unnoticed. Take a moment now and breathe deeply. Notice the tension leaving your body. Notice the calm settling in your spirit. This is not imagination. This is alignment. Heaven is not rushing you. Heaven is walking with you. And as this season unfolds, you will begin to recognize that the greatest gift is not just provision, but the peace that comes with knowing you are finally moving in sync with divine timing. Chosen one. There is a sacred shift that happens when trust replaces tension, and you are entering that space now. Archangel Michael says this is the season where you stop rehearsing what could go wrong and begin preparing for what will go right. For so long your mind was trained to anticipate loss because loss once felt inevitable. But that mindset no longer matches the environment God is placing you in. Heaven is not asking you to forget the past, but to stop letting it dictate your expectations. I want to speak to the quiet courage it took for you to keep going when nothing around you affirmed your faith. There were moments when you showed up without applause, believed without evidence, and remained obedient without immediate reward. That kind of perseverance reshapes a person from the inside out. Archangel Michael says the strength you developed in hidden seasons is what now allows God to trust you with visible provision. Visibility without grounding can destroy people. You were grounded before you were lifted. Chosen one, as resources begin to align, you may notice an internal resistance to receiving. This often shows up as discomfort, guilt, or the urge to downplay what God is doing. That reaction does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you are adjusting to a new normal. Many people learn how to give long before they learn how to receive. But receiving with humility is also obedience. Archangel Michael says, allow yourself to receive without apology. You are not taking something from someone else. You are participating in divine order. There is a difference between entitlement and expectancy. Entitlement demands without gratitude. Expectancy trusts without anxiety. You are being taught expectancy. You are learning how to anticipate good without forcing it. That posture creates space for God to move freely. When the heart is open and unguarded, provision flows without resistance. Chosen one, notice how your reactions are changing. Situations that once triggered panic now invite reflection. Challenges that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. This is not because problems disappeared. It is because your foundation has shifted. Archangel Michael says stability begins internally before it shows externally. You are becoming someone who responds rather than reacts. That is leadership maturity forming. I want to share something real with you. In my own journey, I realized that fear often disguised itself as responsibility. I thought worrying meant I cared. I thought control meant wisdom. But when God began to remove that weight, I learned that true responsibility is rooted in trust. Trust does not ignore reality. It anchors it. Archangel Michael says, you are learning how to carry responsibility without carrying fear. That is a sign of spiritual growth. Chosen one. There may be moments when you are tempted to rush the process because relief feels close. Resist that urge. Acceleration is not pressure. Pressure belongs to striving. Acceleration belongs to alignment. When God accelerates, things unfold naturally, not frantically. Doors open without forcing. Conversations happen without manipulation. Support arrives without bargaining. This is the pace of heaven. Be mindful of comparison in this season. When you see others receiving quickly or differently, it may stir old questions. Why them? Why not sooner? Those questions are understandable, but they are not helpful. Your timeline is intentional. What you are receiving now has been shaped by what you walked through. Someone else's blessing does not diminish yours. Archangel Michael says, comparison clouds discernment. Keep your eyes on what God is doing with you. Chosen one, you are also stepping into a season where discernment around money deepens. You will sense where to invest energy and where to withdraw it. Not every opportunity that pays is aligned. Not every open door is yours to walk through. You will feel less pressure to say yes and more confidence in waiting for clarity. That restraint is not hesitation, it is wisdom. There is something powerful about knowing when to pause. In a world that glorifies speed, pause becomes protection. Archangel Michael says your pauses will save you from misalignment and position you for longevity. You are not here to make quick gains. You are here to build something that lasts. Chosen one, as provision stabilizes, purpose will sharpen. You will feel a clearer sense of why you are doing what you are doing. The fog that once surrounded your direction will lift. Not all at once, but step by step. Vision unfolds as capacity increases. God does not overwhelm his vessels. He expands them gradually. You may also notice a shift in how you relate to work. Work will no longer feel like survival, but stewardship. That shift changes motivation. You move from exhaustion to intention, from obligation to alignment, from pressure to purpose. Archangel Michael says this is where joy returns, not because work disappears, but because meaning enters it. Chosen one, allow yourself to celebrate small confirmations. Not everything will arrive dramatically. Some blessings will come quietly, steadily, consistently. Those are often the most transformative. Celebrate progress, celebrate peace, celebrate clarity. Gratitude amplifies alignment. It keeps the heart open and receptive. I want to remind you of something essential. You are not behind. You were never behind. You were being prepared for a specific assignment that required depth, not haste. Many people arrive early and collapse later because foundation was rushed. Your foundation was strengthened in silence. That is why what comes next will stand. Archangel Michael says, remain anchored in truth as things begin to shift. Anchor in humility. Anchor in discernment. Anchor in gratitude. Do not let momentum distract you from intimacy with God. Provision is not meant to replace presence. It is meant to support obedience. Chosen one. There will be moments when you look back and realize how much has changed without you even noticing. That is often how divine work unfolds, not in dramatic announcements, but in gradual transformation. One day you realize you are no longer anxious. One day you realize you are no longer struggling. One day you realize you are building, not just surviving. As you continue to walk forward, keep this close to your heart. You are not being tested to see if you deserve this. You are being trusted because you are ready. Ready does not mean flawless. It means faithful. And you have been faithful in ways only heaven fully saw. Take a deep breath now, chosen one. Let gratitude rise without forcing it. Let trust settle without explanation. You are not carrying this alone anymore. Heaven is involved. Support is aligning. Provision is stabilizing. And you are stepping into a season where faith no longer feels like strain, but like partnership. Chosen one, as this season settles into place, there is one final internal shift that must anchor everything else: surrender without fear. Not surrender born from exhaustion, but surrender rooted in trust. Archangel Michael says you are no longer laying things down because you are tired of carrying them. You are laying them down because you finally recognize who has been carrying you. This distinction changes everything. One comes from depletion. The other comes from confidence. For a long time you learned how to hold everything together yourself. You became the one who figured things out, who stayed composed when things were uncertain, who absorbed pressure so others wouldn't feel it. That strength kept you alive in hard seasons. But Archangel Michael says this next chapter does not require that level of self-reliance. God is not removing your strength. He is redefining it. Strength now looks like discernment. It looks like restraint. It looks like trusting divine timing without micromanaging outcomes. I want to speak to the part of you that still checks for danger, even when things are going well. That habit didn't come from lack of faith. It came from experience, but experience is no longer your highest authority. Heaven is. Archangel Michael says you are safe to exhale. You are safe to believe that good can stay. You are safe to build without bracing for collapse. Chosen one. You are entering a season where your obedience will feel lighter because it is no longer driven by fear of loss. It is driven by clarity of purpose. When fear leaves the driver's seat, obedience becomes joyful. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and begin asking, "What is being entrusted to me now?" That question carries maturity. That question signals readiness. There will be moments when your old instincts try to reassert themselves. Moments when you want to rush over, prepare or control outcomes. When that happens, pause, not to analyze, but to listen. Archangel Michael says, heaven is not silent in this season. Guidance will come gently but clearly, often as peace, often as restraint, often as a quiet knowing that says, this is enough for now. Chosen one. Your relationship with time is also changing. Urgency is losing its grip. You no longer feel like you are racing against something invisible. That is because divine timing has replaced desperation. When you trust timing, you stop forcing doors. You stop overworking seasons. You stop blaming yourself for delays that were never meant to be rushed. Archangel Michael says time is now working with you, not against you. I want to ground this with honesty. There were seasons when I thought if I stopped pushing, everything would fall apart. I thought rest meant regression. But when God taught me to move at His pace, I realized how much energy I had been wasting trying to control what only He could coordinate. That lesson changed not just my outcomes, but my inner life. Archangel Michael says you are learning that same freedom now. Chosen one, as provision stabilizes, you will feel invited to dream again. Not in fantasy, but in grounded vision. Dreams that once felt unrealistic will begin to feel attainable. Not because circumstances magically changed overnight, but because your capacity has expanded. You are no longer dreaming from lack. You are dreaming from alignment. That makes all the difference. Do not be surprised if joy shows up quietly, not as excitement, but as contentment, not as hype, but as peace. That joy is sustainable. It doesn't depend on constant stimulation. It flows from knowing you are exactly where you need to be. Archangel Michael says joy is one of the clearest signs that heaven is supporting your steps. Chosen one. This is also a season where gratitude deepens. Not forced gratitude, but reflective gratitude. You will look back and see how many times you were protected from what you thought you needed. How many closed doors saved you from future regret. How many unanswered prayers redirected you toward something better. That perspective will keep your heart soft as things expand. You are not stepping into abundance to prove anything. You are stepping into it to steward something meaningful. Your value was never in question. Heaven does not reward worth. Heaven responds to obedience and alignment. And you have aligned yourself repeatedly, even when it cost you comfort. Archangel Michael says the help being sent to you will meet you where you are not where you pretend to be. You do not need to present a polished version of yourself. Authenticity will open the right doors. Honesty will attract the right support. Integrity will sustain what arrives. Chosen one, remember this as things continue to unfold. You are not late and you are not early. You are on time. Divine timing rarely matches human expectation, but it always matches divine intention. Trust that what is unfolding now has been calibrated specifically for you. There will be days when you still feel unsure. Those moments do not negate what God is doing. Faith is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the decision to trust even when certainty is incomplete. Archangel Michael says your faith has matured. It no longer demands proof before obedience. It moves forward with quiet confidence. As you continue walking, remain present. Do not live too far ahead of yourself. The grace you need is always found in the current moment. You don't need tomorrow's strength today. Today's obedience is enough. Heaven will meet you step by step. Chosen one, take another breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind quiet. You are not carrying this season alone. You are supported, guided, and protected. What is being built now is stable, sustainable, and aligned with who you have become. And as you stand here right now, understand this truth deeply. You are not stepping into something fragile. You are stepping into something established, something that has been prepared, protected, and positioned by heaven itself. Walk forward without fear. Trust without striving. Receive without guilt. This season is not a test you must pass. It is a gift you are learning how to steward. Chosen one, as this moment comes to rest, receive this with a still and open spirit. You are not leaving this message the same way you entered it. A supernatural transfer is already in motion, and you are standing in your exact Kairos moment, the divinely appointed time where heaven and earth align on your behalf. Archangel Michael says, what has been delayed is now being released. What was hidden is now being revealed, and what was held back is now being authorized to move toward you. Anointed one, remain faithful and stay aligned. Do not rush ahead of God, and do not look back at what He has already brought you through. Walk forward with gratitude, expectation, and quiet confidence, knowing that divine provision does not miss its target. What God has assigned to bless you will arrive with clarity, purpose, and perfect timing. You are covered, you are guided, you are supported. I declare peace over your mind, wisdom over your decisions, and favor over every step you take from this moment forward. May you recognize the hand of God in the smallest confirmations and the greatest breakthroughs alike. Stay in the flow of the anointing and let your life become the testimony. If your spirit bears witness to this word, take a sacred moment to affirm it. Gently subscribe to stay connected, and write the name of your city in the comments as a sign of agreement with what God is doing right where you are. Go in faith, chosen one. It is already unfolding. Amen.